Hey everybody, and welcome to the End Channel video blog. So today what we're going to do is just tour my lab. So let's get right into it.
So now let's just start this off with my shadow board. First thing I want to say about my shadow board, it's just really awesome to have a highly visual and nicely interfaced way of organizing your tools. I'm actually developing a makerspace right now, and this is how I want to organize the tools up there. It's just so that way we can see what's out, what's in use, and it's really easy to manage your tools. So starting off in a little bit more detail, we got our actual multimeter leads and accessories here, so oscilloscope leads, just connections, USB cables, all that fun jazz. And then we go into our alligator clips, cable ties, and some accessories for the cable ties just to keep it neat. These are the wrenches I'm using for everything right now, the Joker Wear wrenches. I have a future review coming up on these, and they are by far the best wrenches I've ever used, and I just want to point them out. But the only thing I don't like about their product line here is they only have 4 in the set, and that's all you can buy. So even though it's the best tool I've ever used, you got to really constrict on what sizes you're using to. Now right here is just a quick overview of all the screwdrivers I have lying out here, and I just want to stop off and point at these ones. These ones I made personally, and I just take a lot of pride in them. And it's weird because you start developing a handle that works for you, and that was my first one, second one, third, and this is my fourth. And now that I have a design that I really like and is really comfortable, I have to remake everything again, which isn't bad, but it's just really fun to do that. And then right here is probably one of my new favorite things. It's not as organized as the shadow board as these, where it's all really constricted in its movement, but it's a magnetic tool holder. So it's just really fast, really convenient. So just some plumb pliers and linesman pliers, mini bolt cutters, crimping terminals, and strippers. And then right here we just got an infrared gun, and this is a huge tool. I love this. I got this free when I bought a Fluke 289, and of course this happens. And it's really great when you're trying to end a mechanical electrical debate. You just take the temperature of a bearing and say that's where the problems are. And right here just some little storage accessories, and what I got in them is some morettes, some screws, some screwdriver bits, and then to be determined. Some scissors. It's one tool that you can't have enough of. Just lie them around, dedicate for your shop. Don't use the ones that belong to your kitchen. And of course some electrical tape, my common wire, which is American wire gauge 22. Some solder wick, desoldering tool. This right here is huge. It's M4 tap, and I keep the tap in place because M4 is pretty well the only one I use. And it's just really nice when you're doing panels to have a dedicated tool for that. I have more taps, but I'll show you those in my next section of this. And some detail tools for actually doing all the small wires and all that stuff. And then alligator clips. You can never have enough of these, and it's nice to actually have different colors like yellow and all that. So the alligator clips, some other small accessories like the key for a drill, sorry. And once again, just more clips. Now I only have one of these, and I want to get more, but this is my soldering station. And it's the Heiko FX888. It's a beautiful soldering station. I'd like to have a mirror pair so that way the tips are all interchangeable and all that. And it's just a really nice thing. I have nothing bad to say about this. For the price, I think it's the best value for your money. And just going on, here. This is a sample that I worked with. I can't tell you too much about it, but we do a lot of testing here. And that's the size. So you can imagine how big this cable was initially, because there's 3 of these, and then they're encased in metal, and then 2 more layers of PVC basically. And then just some parts, accessories, storage, so sockets, electrolyte capacitors, and just a whole bunch of random chaos. And I got another one over here that I'm trying to bring a little bit more order to, where it's a little bit more structured. But the problem is I just need to get more of these. Just pens out in the open in a cup. Really, it's just for my own convenience. And right here, I know these are just 2 empty glasses, but when I'm going, and I don't want to start putting things away if it's getting late at night, I just throw all the components in these, and then the next day when I have a little bit more time, I'll throw them away properly. And then just right here, my main breadboard. I love this thing. It's just, you can fit everything on it. I know right now it's not a good example. I only got 3 components on it. But it's just really nice to have, the binding jacks where you can distribute really nicely. And then just some wire leads to go with that. Now if we continue on here, we got some variable transformers. I picked these out of the garbage at my working order, extra carbon brushes for them, fuses, everything. And it's just like, how can we be throwing these out? And then my beefy power supply. I love this thing. It's just really old school. It's a linear power supply, but You got your nice volt adjustment, and it's multiple turns, so you're not fighting it. It's only 3 turn, but I find that's almost enough resolution to get pretty accurate. It's current constricted and all that. Some reference textbooks. The Cisco one's basically just complete filler. This one's important. And my BK precision function generator. I don't use this a lot anymore. I'm using a lot more of the Arduino to make my pulse with, but it's nice to actually have this in case I ever want to do something that's a little bit out of the range, like, you know, once we get to the 2 kilohertz and the 2 megahertz. This one can actually go up to 20. It's a weird imperfection, but if you have all the buttons disengaged, it spikes up to 20 megahertz. So if you have one of these, there's your Easter egg right there. And now my oscilloscopes. What I got here is just the Rigel DS1102E. I'm pretty sure everyone's aware of what this is. I mean, it's taken the internet by storm. And just once again, some old analog oscilloscopes, which are awesome. They can do some things that the digital can't, but the problem is they're not as convenient. It doesn't have storage and all that, but they're just fun to play around with. It's very nostalgic to see. Sometimes just seeing the glow of them is more than enough. And just some more leads. Now continuing on, this is my tool chest, which is actually being donated to the makerspace. But right here I just have some organization on some pliers. So I'm not deprived over there. Don't take the shadow board as everything I own. And this is sort of like my setup drawer. So honing stones and stuff like that, just to make sure that everything has a nice edge. Oil to make things that are lubricated. Brass, just if I have to reef on something, we'll tap it into place. A nice really fine resolution steel rule. 1, 2, 3 blocks. And if you don't know what those are, it's 1 inch wide. 1 inch thick, 2 inches wide, 3 inches length. And that allows you to really make a nice template when you're setting up things and keeping things really consistent. A vernier caliper and a couple micrometers. Now both these drawers are complete random chaos. I'm trying to figure out a way to store these, but more wrenches. You can never have enough, and you need 2 of each, obviously. And then right here is probably the most pornographic drawer I own, and this is your multimeters right here. The Fluke 2889 is beautiful. I mean, the data logging is nice. The screen is just biblical. The Fluke 223 just received that. Really love the wires display, and my first 2 multimeters right there. And these are the 61340s ideals. They're not great, they're not bad. I think if you're starting off, that's the way to go. And then right here is just one of the drawers that needs to be organized, but I mean, pressure gauges, some more taps of the less common sizes I use, and the security bits. I picked this up from Lehigh Valley, and huge fan of this. What it has is a whole bunch of bits that are really odd, like, you know, this really old school American clutch. So if you're ever trying to hack, it's a really nice set to have. And just some vernier calipers, knives, and then just hammers and files. Trying to organize these, but unfortunately they just take up too much room, and I can't put them with anything else because something like this is really abrasive, obviously, so destroy other components. And then finally, we just got a drawer of another bit of mass chaos. So that's your drill, Fordham power carver, some more cable ties, and this beefy hammer I made myself a while ago on my wood lathe. And it's almost a novelty size, but it does really have its use when you're trying to do some woodwork. Now, even though my workbench is about 12 feet long and it's just 3/4 inch ply, it's not enough. So what I have here is my capstone project, and I'll include the link to it of a little bit more detail. But what I do here is I actually have 3 sawhorses, and I just keep them underneath my bench, and that way if I ever need them I have more room where I can just throw another piece of plywood or something temporarily, because unfortunately I don't have all the room in the world. Now, before you start thinking I'm completely deprived of tools, this is my actual work pick. I don't actually get to use it because both the jobs I worked at, they provide the tools for me because security is a huge issue. So it's sort of nice, but I still like to keep one that's extremely active. So just some more stuff: screwdrivers, a lot, wrenches, non-contact voltage detectors, flashlight, levels, mirrors, nut drivers, tin snips. So just a lot more detailed tools. And coming down here is a little bit of my storage. So these are servo motors that I'm trying to figure out what to use for, and just a whole bunch of containers and stuff of all my other stuff. So more mechanic tools, like that's a socket set. That's my mechanic book bag when I was trying to become a millwright, so a lot more beefy plumb pliers and stuff like that. And then just some foam that I'm using to organize drawers, and just some basically more junk components. But anyways, guys, that's pretty well my lab in whole. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Have yourselves a great week.